Hello and a warm welcome from MathOratory. My name is Debopam Ghosh. I am a 2018-20 graduate in business management program from XLRI Jamshedpur. Recently, I conducted the first webinar for MathOratory where I discussed about my personal preparation plan for CAT and ZAT. And I also talked about my experience in XLRI, the MBA experience in XLRI. In this video, I've tried to curate the three most important questions which I felt would be beneficial for you guys. The first question is on how to improve your performance in VRC section. The second question is on the pros and cons of leaving a job and preparing for an MBA entrance exam. And the third is based on whether is based on after you join the course in any MBA institute. It's on the uh, certifications which you can do pre-joining your MBA program, and the certifications which will be beneficial for you if you are looking for specifically a finance course or a finance career in finance going forward, and also about the scholarship programs and touching upon the placement policies of various B schools. Vivo as a second question. I am not very good in English. What can I do now so as to improve my English? So this is April, right? And it's expected that your exams will take place somewhere around end of November or at best first week of December, right? So from that perspective, I would say that you have a good 5.5 months ahead of you. What I do recommend is that uh, try and read as much journals or newspapers or that kind of content in general as possible. And at this point of time, you have 4 5 months. It's best if you can read if you have the habit of reading novels, because it's scientifically proven and is a foolproof technique to boost your reading ability and get you reading faster. And during your MBA journey and your MBA course curriculum, you need to be a voracious reader. In my first year, I was reading around 100 pages daily for my course at Accelerate. So reading is a habit that even if you don't inculcate now, it's a habit that you need to inculcate going into a B school. So it's recommended that you develop a habit right now. Having said that, if you have around 5.5 months and you're looking to ace the exam, starting off with novels right now might not be the best strategy. What you can do is that read good magazines, read business papers, and specifically read the opinion columns of these good newspapers, because those are rich in content, rich in opinion, and rich in a wide array of worldviews and opinions, which will help you not only in reading passages in your RC, but also in turning up more confidently for your GD and PI process once you are done with your entrance exams. It helps. Uh, what I did was that I read the free version of Economist. You can download the app. Economist app comes in free. They give you around 4 articles free to read in a month, so that you can do. Apart from that, you can read Hindu. Hindu's business news are really good, so you can go to the opinion column as well. Apart from that, Business Standard or Economic Times, any one of or both if you can manage. You don't have to read the complete newspaper by heart. Go to the business section, read the business section, couple of articles daily, and try and read the opinion column. Why I specifically focus on the opinion column? Because I have found, and this is my understanding and my belief, opinion and in general editorial columns of most of magazines tend to mirror the kind of passages that you end up seeing in a CAT or a ZAT paper. The structure, the tone, the use of language, whatever you say, I have seen there is a insane amount of similarity in the articles of good newspapers and magazines and what you see in CAT and ZAT. And it is what we tend to read once we are past the entrance exam barrier and into the course. We are made to read, or we are advised or have to read rather, to keep up these magazines, and they tend to mirror very, very, very starkly and very similarly to the passages that you see. So make a habit of reading these opinion columns. They'll really give you a boost in terms of your VRC preparation. For Grammar, I don't think I can say for certainty there is a foolproof technique. Grammar is something that's a habit as well as it gets good with practice. So for grammar, as many sets you can do, it will get you better. Get in touch with your English tutor or whoever you are in correspondence with once you are in the course. So they will help you to guide or chart a better preparation plan or suggest you better ways of improving those weak areas inside this huge gamut of VRC. So VRC, what I see widely is that one part is the reading and understanding ability, which is the RC, and around 40-45% questions are RC. The rest are your parajumbles and your word meanings and your grammars. Right. So if you are good with the reading and comprehension part, it takes massive uh, bulk of questions. It takes care of a massive bulk of questions. Grammar is something which you need to practice, which you need to get good at over a course of time. Mohit, your question is very pertinent. Should we take a break from job offer from job while preparing for CAT? No, I don't think so. I certainly absolutely abhor students from taking a year gap because I don't think that's the best way to go about. And frankly, when you're appearing for a GDPI process, it doesn't show you in a better light compared to other candidates, right? So you know that most B schools when they call students for the PI process, it's generally a ratio of about 4 to 5:1 for the number of candidates is to the number of seats that are available. So just for example, take this: if you're someone who has left a job and aced CAT and coming to my interview vis-a-vis someone who's taken the pain to continue in a job at the same time cleared the CAT and coming to the interview, who is at a better position? So yes, you will have to think about ways of amping up your preparation while you're working in the organization. But taking a year break is certainly that I would not recommend at this point of time or at any point of time because it doesn't show you in a good light. Ultimately, if you are a manager, you should be able to do multiple things at the same time, and that is what's expected of you. So it's best that you keep your job and find better ways to preparing. The last resort you can look for is that you can change your job if it's something that's really bogging you down and you feel that you're absolutely not able to give time for your preparation. Then you might have a case for uh, leaving your job and looking for better preparation strategies. But then again, I would say that don't completely leave the job 5, 6, 7 months before your entrance exam. That's not recommended, especially in the current market. So if it's just 1, 2 months before the exams, then still makes sense. But leaving your job and preparing for an MBA entrance exam is one thing that I certainly do not vouch for. Is gap year really going to affect? To be honest, it depends. If you have a really good CV and gap year is something that doesn't strike out in your CV, then your interview panel is not going to look at that and it will completely get ignored. And there are other facets to your uh, there are other facets to your CV or your personality which they want to venture. Then the gap year is something then they would not look at. But if your CV is just a gap year job, and then it's suddenly a GDPI call, then there are chances that they will ask you. But again, if you have good reasons to explain why you took the gap year and if you can reason it out well, then it's not a problem. I've again from experience, I'm telling you, there are a number of students who I've seen join premium B schools and who have taken year drops and still made it there. But having said that, they had a good story to tell about why they had to take the job off and what other stuff they were doing during the time they were not doing their job. For example, there was this one friend who had left a job to venture into a startup that was founded by some of his friends. other had left his job to do writing. So if these are the reasons, or for example, any good reason you can come up with, which you can feel that you were doing for your benefit or which were adding to you as a person, then you can make a case for yourself, and it helps to convince the panel as such. But if you do not have that, then it becomes a little bit more difficult, and your chances are a little bit compromised. I would say that it's not a thing that you should lose your sleep about, but at the same time, there are certain things which need to be kept in mind while you are preparing for, and there are certain realities also to the preparation and how it goes about, right? So I'm just trying to give you a full and a realistic picture of all that happens around this exam, and consequently during the selection processes. Oh yeah, definitely. You can do tons of things, Mohit. You can do online certifications. You can do internships. You can do a lot of things. See, I thought that you were asking me. So let me get this like clear. Have you left your job and now are you contemplating things which you can add to your CV, or are you thinking about leaving your job and looking for other buffer things which you can do in the meantime? Okay, you haven't left it. Okay, whatever. I'll try to do my best as I'll try to do my best in answering this question as much as I can. So, see, there are a bunch of things you can do. You can do internships. You can do online certification courses. Basically, you need to convince the panel that during this 1 year, which you had taken gap, and as you say, that the word clearly stands out, right? Gap. It wasn't really a gap. You were doing something productive in the meanwhile. If you can convince the panel that you are doing something productive in the meanwhile, or you had a solid reason to leave your job and prepare for an MBA entrance exam, then it makes a better case. There are a bunch of things you can do. At the end of the session, I would leave my number and email ID. You can mail to me specific queries you can have, and I'll try and take them out. Okay. I can recommend you a couple of courses or certifications that you can do, and that will add to your CV once you are past the exams and going to the GDPI preparation, right? Okay. Shayon, you had some questions. Yeah. So pre-MBA level for finance, again, as I said, finance mostly looks for if you're an engineer and you have, I think I had talked to you before. If you're an engineer and you have had around more than 2-3 years of work experience, and you do not have a CF L1, L2, L3 on your CV right now, it's uh, absolutely very difficult to get into a finance firm. And this is a very realistic realization that you must come to. Finance is something which tends to prefer freshers. If you are someone who is a non-engineering grad, then and uh, and you have work experience, then still finance is a viable option for you. If you're someone with a BCom degree, or for example, economics degree, then you can definitely look for finance. But for certifications, first I would say for finance, strategy, consulting. Okay, for strategy and consulting, there are no foolproof certifications or any certifications which add any particular value in terms of going forward in terms of your CV, because for strategy there are no particular domain as such called strategy in MBA. It's not a core course. It comes under a lot of things, but there is no definite concrete thing called strategy. There are some roles which offer strategy, which offer strategic. There are some organizations which offer strategic roles, but strategy as a subject doesn't exist in these schools. In consulting again, it's a whole ball game about your entire CV, and basically you need to have a really stellar CV and basically some really good spikes in your CV. For example, maybe a national level TT player, or or a master or something, or a national level quizzer, someone who's won Tata Crucible or something like that. And you need to have a couple of spikes in your CV really to get into a consulting firm. Yeah, even if you do not have that, what can make up for your not having a stellar or a peak CV, what we call in B school jargon, is that is that you need to have a really really consistent academic profile, something like a 999 or something like that, to for getting consulting roles. And there are no particular certifications as such for strategy and consulting. For finance, uh, there are definitely linear certifications which directly correlate to your CV and which recruiters want to look at when they are scanning for a finance CV. Right. So in this respect, two certifications are particularly very good and prominent. First is the CFA, and second is FRM. So FRM is considered to be a little bit easier than CFA, and CFA is obviously a little bit more difficult. For CFA, also you need to shell out something around one lakh to get the material and do the exam. FRM exam is a little bit cheaper, so you can weigh your options on both of them and go for either one which is suitable. Adding either one of them with help will help. However, from personal experience, I have seen that the CFA degree is valued more than the FRM degree. FRM degree tends to add more value if you already have a CFA degree with you. So CFA plus FRM is valuable. Only FRM less valuable. Only CFA still okay, right? So I think I'm able to answer this part of your question. About placement policy, I cannot answer certain questions that you have laid out here in black and blue and in black and white rather, because we have certain restrictions in terms of sharing information and giving out our placement details about our placement policies. It's something which comes under our disclosure agreement in most B schools. And also, as a member of the alumni committee of XLRI, I am not in a position to directly answer about the placement policies and the level to which in detail you have asked questions. The video link for the entire video is provided in the description below. You can go through it. Here I've discussed about various other aspects of my preparation plan and also the other questions which were floated by the participants. Thank you.